Many children speak in different languages at school, at home, and with their friends. This video series aims to help educators understand how different languages shape our understanding of a place, a group of people, and the individual child. How formal and everyday use of different languages shape children's confidence to express themselves, how the way we teach shapes children's language skills and spontaneous use of different languages, how a whole school must work together when a child's natural language of comfort is different from the school language. This is a self-learning video series. It is organized into 4 modules. Each module is made up of 4 units, covering specific themes related to multilingualism. This is the first module in our series. We will be covering interesting themes such as diversity in language and identities associated with language. In our everyday world, some of the languages we use are often thought of as more prestigious. Some languages become dominant, while others are marginalized. In multilingual environments, children could code switch. They do this by mixing 2 languages into one sentence or saying the first sentence in one language and the next in another. What happens when a place has more than one language? You may be teaching children who speak in different languages. Therefore, your aim as you work through this module should be to recognize the extent of language diversity in your place of work and attitudes towards the different languages spoken by your students. Most importantly, this module will help you recognize that multilingual language learning depends on exposure to a language, the prestige associated with a language, and the word and phrase transfers that happen between languages. This is Sundarnagar. Sundarnagar is an important junction in the Central Railway route and is surrounded by forests and coal mines. This small town is home to a railway colony, and people from different parts of India speaking a medley of languages live here. The local population who live in the villages surrounding the town speak Bhili. Meet Partha. He is one amongst the thousands of teachers in this country who are making a difference to primary school education. He places children first, ensures that their voices are heard, and gives them opportunities to freely explore and express themselves. This is Sundarnagar Primary School. This primary school caters to the children of Sundarnagar and its adjoining villages. Partha has been teaching in Sundarnagar Primary School for 5 years now and has recently been given the Governor's Award on Teachers' Day. Why, you ask? Because Partha has made a real difference to primary education in this area. When Partha first came to teach at Sundarnagar Primary School, he realized that in some under-resourced schools, children are 2 grades behind their counterparts, leading to underachievement. Partha wanted the children of Sundarnagar Primary School to feel confident and take pride in their school. He got some of the wealthier people of the town to donate furniture, mats, colorful teaching aids, and a computer to make the school a better learning space. He organized art, music, dance, storytelling, and drama competitions, where he allowed the children to express themselves in their language of comfort. Partha believed that a child's comprehension of an abstract concept or idea, irrespective of the language he or she expresses this idea in, was the first step in his or her learning process. His teaching style allowed the children to easily comprehend a concept. He used pictures and the languages of the children.
केम छो मोटा भाई?
ए मोटा किसको बोला रे? हो ये कोई?
अरे नहीं, elder brothers are called mota bhai in a language.
This is an example of metalinguistic awareness. The awareness that a word can have different meanings in different languages. Children gain confidence when they learn new languages from their friends. This confidence takes away the fear of learning unfamiliar languages, including the school language in which lessons are taught. Learning new words also helps them form deeper bonds with their friends and become familiar with diverse cultures. But sadly, Partha will be leaving Sundarnagar Primary School soon. Partha has recently cleared his state civil services examination and is now going to become an education officer. Meet Maya. Maya is a science graduate, a trained primary educator, and has taught in 2 schools before she was transferred to Sundarnagar. Maya has been appointed to take over from Partha. Her last job was in a large town with a population of 2 lakhs and 3 primary schools. But Maya has grown up in a small town like Sundarnagar and is determined to make a success of her new role. As part of the handover process, Partha has decided to share his learnings on teaching children who are comfortable in different languages with Maya.
Maya ji, where did you grow up? If I were to guess, I would say somewhere near Indore because your accent has a hint of Malvi in it.
You're quite right. I didn't know it was that apparent.
No, I like noticing such things. When I hear someone speaking in Hindi, I try and guess which district, which part of the country they're from just by their accent. It's not a gift, it's a hobby.
Bapre, then people who want to keep their past a secret must really be terrified of you.
The beauty of our country is that we have so many languages, and within each language, hundreds of dialects. I believe that the best way to hear new languages is to go on a long train journey across India.
That's true. Travelers carry their languages with them, don't they?
Yes. And on a train, one meets different people from different states. Some are traveling for work, some are on a pilgrimage, some may be going to visit relatives.
My train to Sundarnagar had a wedding party. A boy was going to get married in the next state. After the wedding, he and his bride will be traveling to a new country altogether. I think he mentioned Canada.
Yes. And then there are migrants who go from one state to the other for work. So if we look at all these places where people who speak different languages meet each other, like in a train or a new city,
Or at a railway station, in the middle of nowhere when a train has made an unscheduled stop.
yes, any place where people who speak different languages meet each other, where travelers break journey for a short or long time becomes a multilingual place. Whereas, any place where there is only one community speaking only one language is a monolingual place. Places which have the most language diversity are usually along the routes that travelers take regularly or have taken in the past.
Is that the time? 11 o'clock already?
Would you like a cup of tea? The tea stall outside our gate makes a garam kadak chai. I will go and fetch some, but never have the coffee, even by mistake. It tastes of boiled mud and sugar.
ठीक है, I shall remember that. Yes, a cup of tea would be perfect. I have some biscuits in my lunch bag. Let me fetch them. This tea is delicious.
So are these biscuits? Is this elaichi?
No, cashew. But they all taste the same, don't they? Have you noticed something though? Biscuit makers always brand Kaju biscuits as cashew biscuits in English. But elaichi is always elaichi, never cardamom. I guess cardamom biscuit does not sound that appetizing at all.
Yes, it's fascinating, isn't it? How languages borrow words, sounds, and grammar from each other.
Yes, and sometimes just sharing a cup of chai or coffee with a stranger can introduce you to a new world and new languages. I have always thought of languages as human beings, full of information and a desire to express those ideas. Just like human beings, languages too can be grouped into families, can't they?
That's a great comparison, Mayaji. Yes, they can. In India, we have 3 main language families: Dravidian, Indo-Aryan, and Munda. And just like we have more in common with our own siblings than our friends' siblings, each language family has sister languages. And these sister languages have more in common with each other than languages from another family.
So, if we arrange all the languages in a straight line, the languages from the same family will stand next to each other, and the languages which don't share a common family will stand far apart. So, Hindi and Marathi can stand next to each other because they are both Indo-Aryan languages. But Hindi will stand far apart from Tamil and Santali because Tamil is a Dravidian and Santali is a Munda language?
Absolutely. So, Maya ji, can you tell me 4 words from another language that you learnt when you were young?
We speak Hindi at home. I think the first 2 words that I learnt in English were Tata Bye Bye, which I said whenever I wanted to be taken out of the house, and hungry because my mother would keep asking me, Hungry kya? My best friend in school was a Sardar boy, and from him I learnt Hanji, Behenji, and Shukriya.
And did knowing these words affect the way you spoke Hindi?
Yes, I still say Shukriya instead of Dhanyavad, Hungry lagi hai instead of Bhook lagi hai, and I often say Tata chale instead of Ghumne chale when I take my little nephew out for a walk. The words may not be Shuddh Hindi, but the context is correct, na?
Yes, this often happens to multiple language speakers. Acha Maya ji, let's suppose this cup of tea could speak. What language do you think it would speak in?
That's easy. We must find out where this tea is from. Which is the mountain it calls its home? Has it been grown on the Nilgiri hills or the slopes of Assam or in the dour areas of West Bengal? What language did it listen to when it was a young plant? Who tended to it and who plucked it? Depending on where it's from, we will know the language it speaks.
That's right. Any person, when asked to name their language, usually names the language they speak at home. However, when a person says, I speak in, let's say, language A, this named language signals information that goes far beyond the language group that the person belongs to. It helps to identify the community the person is from and differentiates him or her from a group that speaks language B. Sometimes, the named language can signal which strata of society a person belongs to or their economic and social circumstances.
And that is why language identity is important for both the speaker and for the listener, isn't it? Languages give people a distinct place in society. Linguistic identities frame social experiences for both adults and children. It also identifies a person as a speaker of one or more languages.
Quite right, Mayaji. And because Sundarnagar has no other primary schools, all children within a 20-kilometer radius of this town, irrespective of their named language or socioeconomic status, attend our school. As a result, we have many named languages in the school, a lot of language diversity, and a variety of unique and distinct language identities.
This means that we have many multilingual children in our school. Children who hear and talk one language at home, another when playing with their friends, and a third at school. Children who experience language as information from different social and cultural worlds.
That's right, Mayaji. Of course, we also have children who speak the same language at school, at home, and with their friends. Children who do not experience any variety in linguistic identity. What I am going to try and share with you today, Mayaji, is my experience in teaching multilingual classrooms. I'm sure you too have your own set of learnings from your previous schools. Why don't you think about them and share them with me? Then maybe together we can come up with some good ideas or practices which will benefit our school system and help us better support multilingual children.